Hi again, everybody. Bill Phillips here. It is Monday, October 21st, 2024. And for those that don't know or maybe forgot, which I did, Jeff Exline reminded us all this morning on Sunrise that today is Back to the Future Day, and it's actually National Back to the Future Day from the movie. Of course, Michael J. Fox, a very popular movie, a trilogy of movies that a lot of people just love. And October 21st, 2015 was the day they were going to come back in the future. And Cubs were going to win a World Series. That actually happened. Flying cars, hoverboards. I haven't seen any. Well, I guess we have some hover type boards and flying cars. Not really. But anyways, it's just kind of a fun day to think about some of the things that they talked about in the movie. Fun day to think about the future. Fun day to think about what the future might look like in maybe another, I don't know, 25, 30 years just to see. And we have producer extraordinaire Jordan here. And Jordan, what do you think? Hoverboards, flying cars? Do you want a flying car? No? Okay. Too much air traffic. Okay. All right. Yeah, too much air traffic. Well, I know what you did want on Sunday night was a Steelers win, and you got one. And you were curious at the end of last week, talking about Russell Wilson, whether or not he was going to be cooking, as Russell Wilson has said in the past. So the Steelers won, scored 37 points. I think that's the most for this year, as they beat the Jets 37-15. And from what I understand, you may have stayed up for the entire game before coming in for work in the morning. So probably a little sleepy at this point. But if you can get the sleepy fogness out of your head, what did you think about specifically Russell Wilson and his performance? Because everyone was like, "Oh, Justin Fields did enough; he should keep starting." Or Russell Wilson, what do you think? Okay. All right. Yep.
So I was definitely nervous, but I don't know. I heard that, I don't remember if it was the announcers or whatever, but they were basically saying if you could combine Russell and Justin Fields,
then you
have a perfect quarterback.
Yeah.
Justin Fields will run.
Mm-hmm.
Russell is.
He's a little bit older. He used to run. Oh, you just said old. It wasn't a little old. It wasn't just a veteran. See, there's other ways to say it. You just say the wily veteran. But I watched the first half. He looked rusty. I mean, if you really think about it, he didn't play any of the preseason. I think maybe a couple snaps, but he didn't really play all preseason. So that means he hasn't played since the end of last season, and I think he missed the last few games because he wasn't playing in Denver. So you got to shake a little bit of rust off, but they get the win. So now with him winning as the starter, yeah, okay, you're already set with that. Has Coach Tomlin announced that, or have you sent him an email on that? Yeah, I can't imagine they would. I mean, they made the move to see what he would do. They put up 37 points. You figure he's going to be a little bit better next week. So looks like Russell Wilson's the guy. What do you think of the win? Defense was pretty good.
Yeah, at the beginning I was like, this is really slow.
Okay, well now I don't know if anyone watched the game out there, but I'm sure some people did. Brian, good morning. Good morning. I don't know if you saw the Steelers game last night or if you watched the Browns and Bengals. I don't know if you want whatever you want to chime in on. I know Monroe Central, big win this week. They're at 8-1 now. But they had a couple plays, the field goals, the blocked field goals. Coach Smith, my guy. He was. I'll tell you, he's one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. He's super. And if you like chewing bubble gum, he's your guy. Like he always has it. It's unbelievable. It's like, okay, that's the 15th piece, Coach. You want to back away, but just a super guy. And when I was covering the Steelers, my son was kicking in high school or just started, and I asked him for a little bit of advice. He took time, and then it was funny because then after games, I'd see him. outside of the Steelers locker room on Sunday, and I'd say, Coach, congratulations, or tough loss, or whatever it was. Hey, how do you do? How'd Big Red do? And he would make me go through the whole thing, every kick, and he took an interest in, I said, well, what, he said, well, look at this, look at that, and so he was just a super nice guy, but he was hot last night. He was angry. So here's the deal. Now, I didn't see the second one because I'd probably long gone to bed before that happened. Yeah. Yeah. So the first one, Minka Fitzpatrick jumps over the line of scrimmage, just barely touches the lineman with his hand, and they call a penalty. And then everybody was going nuts. It shouldn't have been called. So then they did it again, and they blocked it. And then they did it again, and I guess they blocked it again. And did anybody touch anybody? Who blocked that one? Was it Fitzpatrick again? Okay. So, but they get the block.
But they were hyped because the first one was.
He was not happy.
I am a Steeler fan, so I'm like, of course, but
No.
Really, it was a bad call.
Yeah. So that happened, and then Brian is saying he thinks if Justin Fields won 4 games, you should stick with Justin Fields. I understand that logic. I really do, because I kind of thought that way last week with 4-2. He's played well, but here's the thing. If he came into the situation and Coach Tomlin, and I'm sure he did, Coach Tomlin said, this is how we're going to work it. Russell is the starter. So whenever Russell's ready to come back and we think he's ready to go, he's going to get the start. So if they said that, everybody knew it, because Justin Fields has been pretty classy about it. He really hasn't complained. You don't hear any of the Steelers complaining about it. So I think it must have been really well known that that's what they were going to do. And then Russell comes out, they win, they score 37 points. So I'm thinking Russ is going to keep cooking until something goes wrong. Until he throws in that cinnamon when he's not supposed to. It's supposed to be like paprika. He throws in the wrong spice. So we'll have to see about that. But when we come back, we're going to take a little bit of a break. But then when we come back, we're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns. We'll talk about their quarterback situation, because that is entirely up in the air now. We'll also have much more. But that's the big thing coming up with Deshaun Watson, his injury, where that leaves the Browns. And right now we're going to talk to Valley Converting, our sponsor of the Phill-Up. And, of course, we can't thank them enough, as they are absolutely sensational. If you have paper products you want to recycle, give them a call in Toronto or the Gem City of Toronto, Ohio. And actually, you can drive up. They have bins that you can just throw stuff in. Do a drive-by. Just throw it in there. And then, but if you have sensitive documents that you don't want anyone to see, you want to just have them recycled, well, then, give them a call. They'll take care of you. And right now, let's hear from Valley Converting.
Every piece of paper has a story. What if that story didn't end when you were done with it?
At Valley Converting, we turn your old paper products into recycled paperboard, continuing the story.
Locally owned and operated in Toronto, Ohio, bringing your paper to Valley Converting isn't just about recycling.
It's about supporting a cleaner, greener future for all of us.
We are here 5 days a week to help you make some green by going green.
And remember,
recycle for your future.
The late, great Gino Biasi in the upper corner of the shot there at the end of the Valley Converting commercial. Mike and a lot of his supporters there talking about Valley Converting. And let's go back to the comments. Maybe we have another comment. I think we do. Ron has checked in. Let's see. Wilson opened up the field with his passing. Here we go. Ron opened up the field with his passing for the running game to take off. Jordan, I didn't see the whole game. Did that happen? All right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for not having played in a year, more than a year, or just about a year, I thought, he looked okay. So, but everybody got a little anxious when he wasn't playing that well right off the bat. And that's the thing. You have to give him some time. And speaking, so you got some people chanting Fields. Maybe you heard a boo or two. I heard that a little bit in the first half. Speaking of boos, what'd you think of that? You appreciate that? Don't appreciate that? Are you a booer or not? Like if you're at the crowd and he's not playing, you're like, "Hey, come on! What are we doing? Get him out of the game." Okay. I think I hurt my throat doing that. So, well, speaking of booze, we go to Cleveland now. Deshaun Watson. He was signed by the Browns. Huge contract, $230 million or so guaranteed. Had some baggage coming out of Houston. Great quarterback in Houston, all-pro quarterback in Houston. Thought he was going to solve the quarterback problems in Cleveland. Different injuries, different mishaps, different off-the-field issues has kept him from really getting going. And then yesterday, he goes down with an apparent Achilles injury, which looks like it's going to force him to miss the rest of the season at least. And he appeared when I just saw a highlight or two, appeared to be crying on the cart as he was going off. And apparently a lot of Browns fans, or some of the Browns fans, were booing and cheering. Yeah. No. And Myles Garrett, the superstar defensive lineman for the Browns, had this to say after the game. It's a quote out of an ESPN article. Whether it's an opponent that goes down or one of our own, we don't boo, Garrett said. We should be ashamed of ourselves as Browns and as fans to boo anyone, and their downfall could be season-altering, career-altering injury. The man is not perfect. He doesn't need to be. None of us are expected to be perfect. Can't judge him for what he does off the field or on the field, because I can't throw stones from my glass house, but we need to do better. So there you go. And so, yeah, I mean, that about sums it up. I mean, you know, you never want to cheer if someone's been injured. That just doesn't make any sense. It's like cheering if someone gets in a car accident. You want to cheer for that. So, you know, you're not going to, I mean, that's, and the thing is, it's like, well, he just hurt his ankle. Well, no, he's going to have surgery. There's going to be all kinds of things that he's going to have to deal with to try and come back and start his career up again. Or does maybe Deshaun Watson say, you know what? I'm done. It could happen. I mean, he could say, you know what? I'm not willing to put myself through the work to come back and do that. Or he says, you know what? I'm going to work hard. I'm going to come back. I'm going to prove they were right, and maybe I'll resurrect my career. So interesting. Crowd in Cleveland. It was the booze that caused the booze. Well, you know, there's a lot of that in National Football League stadiums and a lot of Major League Baseball stadiums, NBA stadiums, NHL stadiums. You get the booze flowing, and everybody gets their booze muscles on. It's kind of like the internet. You know, it's easy to sit at a keyboard and just kind of go, I've got my username as Boozy Boozes, and you write all whatever you want. There's no repercussions because no one knows who you are. You know, it's like, if you're going to put your name to it, if you're going to do it, put your name to it. I mean, I remember the worst one I think I've ever seen was in Philadelphia when Michael Irvin, the playmaker, the Hall of Famer for the Dallas Cowboys, was injured. It basically was the end of his career. He kind of fell, hit his head on the turf, and the Eagles fans just cheered and yelled and booed and the whole thing. And he was close. They said, you know, if he had hit it a little bit differently, he could have been paralyzed. And that was basically the end of his career because he had spinal stenosis, which is kind of a thinning of the spinal column. So it was a very dangerous situation. It just doesn't make any sense to do that. But, you know, hey, people pay that. Everyone's like, I paid my money. I'm on boo. Okay. You paid your money. Doesn't mean you have to be the crazy person. You can still, you know, keep your stuff together. So anyways, the Browns are done. I mean, at this point, what, they're 1-6 now? Is that worse. Now Cincinnati now 3-4 suddenly. Joe Burrow and the gang getting it started. Everyone said they start slow every year. They start slow, but they are now 3-4. So let's look at the standings as of this Monday. Steelers 5-2, Ravens 4-2, Cincinnati 3-4, Cleveland 1-6. So Cleveland's been eliminated from the playoffs. I mean, you're almost to the midway point of the season. You have one win. It's all over. But you're only 1-0 in the division. If you win 5, I know they're done. Only undefeated team left, Kansas City, 6-0. And not to say anything, but the Washington Commanders are suddenly 5-2. Still don't like the new name. I like the football team of Washington better. So we have that. Quickly going to go around sports real quick. Major League Baseball. It is the Los Angeles Dodgers beating the New York Mets, which means the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees. Traditional World Series matchup for years and years and years. They will play in the World Series starting Friday, I believe. Game 1 on Friday. You can see it on Fox 9 Friday night. And so all the pitchers will be rested. Everybody's going to be rested, ready to go. I have a week to get ready. So that'll start on Friday. Let's see if they set up a game time yet. To be determined. But it is the Dodgers with home field advantage. So that's it for Major League Baseball. Then, you know what I watched a good bit of last night? Didn't make it. I made it like midway through the third quarter, and that's when I had to head to bed. But the WNBA finals last night, what a great series that was. It was fantastic. I mean, New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx just throwing haymakers at each other. Physical, just frenetic defense. Minnesota's defense was sensational. But they would go in spurts. They'd have it for almost like the whole 3 quarters, and then for a couple minutes, New York would go on a run. They were down 15 one game. They were down, and then Minnesota was down big in one game. But last night, New York was down early, like 12 points, managed to come back. Breanna Stewart, everybody talks about the best player in the world. Could be Breanna Stewart. She's pretty tough. I don't want to say anything, everybody, but I just looked over at Jordan. I think she's fading fast. Stayed up a little too late watching those Steelers. I looked over, she's kind of like, what? WNBA game? What? Huh? Oh, and by the way, the Penguins. Oh, we got to look this up. I meant to look it up yesterday because I wanted to mention it. The Penguins, we were talking about how six goals seems to be the magic number for the Penguins. They gave up 6 goals yesterday. Brian checking in again. Monroe Central needs to finish in the top 8 to host a first-round playoff game. It's a loaded region this year. Brian, I have talked to the coach. Right now, I think they're sitting 11th. They're not sure if they, even if they win this week, if they can get into the top 8. So it'll be interesting to see. But I'll tell you what, if I'm one of those top 8 and I have to play Monroe Central in the first round, they come in with a 9-1 record. Don't know if I want to tangle with the Seminoles from Monroe Central. Now, if the Florida State Seminoles came into play against a high school team, good matchup, I think, because Florida State's been awful. Now, I'm saying that as it's the truth. They have been terrible, but I say that knowing that my Miami Hurricanes play them this Saturday. It's like Saturday night at 7. Hey, did they almost? Tied at 38 at one point, wasn't it? Yeah, our defense we just give up points. We've got Cam Ward and the receivers. We'll be fine. We'll score 102, but we're going to give up 101. Yeah, it was a little bit crazy. So, anyways, Monroe Central, I think. But here's my new trap game. Miami comes out. The good thing is it's at home, because if it was at Florida State, then I think Florida State is going to throw everything they have, because if they can win this game, it can salvage their season a little bit. Not really, but they'll feel a little bit better about it. At least we beat Miami, all that stuff. What was I going to? I was going to hockey, wasn't I? NHL. Let's go. Penguins. Let's see. So the Penguins, just to check, how many games have there been 6 goals scored? Okay. That's the wrong one. That's the Islanders. I don't want the Islanders. Penguins. Here we go. All right. So 6, they gave up 6 goals yesterday. Then the one before that, it was 4-1. 6 goals in the game before that. 6 goals in the game before that. 6 goals. 6 goals. I mean, if you score 6 goals, you win the game. And it's just amazing that they've given up that many goals. All right. So what else do we have? Oh, birthdays. Birthdays. Are we going to talk about Jordan's birthday today? No, that would not be appropriate. It's not her birthday today. But it's closing in. Time is ticking away, Jordan. But you'll be all right. Well, here's some birthdays that people shared today. Real quick. Dizzy Gillespie, legendary trumpet and band leader. Dizzy Gillespie, 1917, 1993. Joyce Randolph, who was Trixie Norton in the Jackie Gleason Honeymooners show. Whitey Ford, 10-time All-Star, 6-time World Series champion pitcher. born in 1928. Oh, Joyce Randolph was born in 1924. Judge Judy, yes, born in 1942, and she's still on TV making $16 million a year or something crazy. Congratulations, sir. Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, 1956 to 2016, and the big one, the one and only, Kim Kardashian. I mean, you know, if you're not keeping up with the Kardashians, what are you keeping up with? I don't know. All right, and we're gonna go through national days real quick so we can wrap things up. Today's National Apple Day. 7,000 recognized varieties of apples. Did you know that, Jordan? You an Apple fan? You like apples? All right, you have the Red Delicious, the Gala, the Fuji. You like the Granny Smiths, the green ones. Yeah, Granny Smiths. I like those. Honey Crisp are good. No, Honey Crisp is like a red one. It's got a nice flavor. It's a really sweet flavor. It's nice. Now, true story. We used to do this back in Farmington, Connecticut. Avon was kind of right on the town lines, but Farmer Smith had an orchard, and he was a gentleman. He had his cooling shed. So we would get all the apples picked, and then he would put them in the cooling shed, and you literally went in, and it was Scout's honor. You went in, you put your $5 in or whatever he was charging for a bag of the apples, and then you would take the change, and you'd be all set, and you would get your apples. Candied apples. Ron's into the candy apples. There you go. Yeah, those are good. People like those. So that was always good. And then someone got a little crazy and stole some money, and then he couldn't do that anymore. It was literally the honor system, but it was great. You'd go there, get these big bags of apples fresh off the trees. It was awesome. Back to the Future Day. We talked about that. October 21st, 2015. Witch Hazel Day, skin products, keep it. National Reptile Day. Learn about reptiles. That's what you want to do today. Clean your virtual desk day. If you want to, go ahead. But here's the one, Jordan's favorite one of the day. It is National Pumpkin Cheesecake Day, everybody. Let's go. And on that note, that may just be the best way to wrap it up. National Cheesecake Day. But not National Cheesecake, Pumpkin Cheesecake Day. I don't even know where you would find a pumpkin cheesecake. I wonder if they have any at the store. I might have to look. I don't want to go to the store to look for that, do I? I like cheesecake, but am I that motivated? Am I that motivated to go get some pumpkin cheesecake? I don't think so. Maybe. All depends. I'm in the mood. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I can't thank you enough for being a part of the 9-Minute Phill-Up at Valley Converting, bringing it to you. And of course, if you have paper products that you want recycled, make sure you check in with everybody in T-Town, the Gem. I just like saying T-Town and the Gem City. Toronto, Ohio, the one and only. Maybe stop and get Iggy's Pizza up there. A lot of people like Iggy's. Candy apple. Melvin says, that sounds delish. Absolutely it does. Yeah, so all right. I guess Melvin and I are into going out and getting pumpkin cheesecake. So I might have to do. All right, Melvin, for you, if I remember to do it, because that's what happens a lot. I'll do the 9-Minute Phill-Up, and then by the time it's 1 p.m, I've forgotten everything that we've talked about on the 9-Minute Phill-Up. But if I remember, I might have to go and try. I could do a little. If I can find some, do a little taste test. We can talk about it tomorrow. So Melvin, if you can, go out and get some pumpkin cheesecake, and we'll do a comparison. That will work. That'll be fun. I wouldn't mind doing that. So I'll see if I can find some. That'd be good. All right, Melvin, everybody else, thank you so much for stopping by. It's the 9-Minute Phill-Up that always goes overtime, and we can't thank you enough for being a part of it. Remember the 2 rules, everybody. 2 rules. Have fun and always try your best. Have a great Monday.